endorsements, starting with the U.S. Senate. The endorsed candidate is Raul Garcia, who received 73% of the votes. And remember, in order to receive the endorsement, at least on the first ballot, the candidate needed to have at least 50% plus one. For governor, the endorsed candidate is Semi Bird, who received 72% of your votes. For auditor, the endorsed candidate is Matt Hawkins. He was unopposed. He received almost 99%. There were a few none of the aboves, but he essentially received 100%. For Secretary of State, the endorsed candidate is Dale Whitaker. Dale received 64% of your votes. And Dale, I will always remember that your first name is Dale. For Attorney General, also unopposed, Pete Serrano received effectively 100% of the vote. For Commissioner of Public Lands, the endorsed candidate is Sue Keel Peterson. Sue received 86% of your votes. And for Superintendent of Public Instruction, the endorsed candidate is David Olson. David Olson, in that crowded field, received 57% of your votes. So those are the endorsed candidates for statewide office of the state Republican Party. Now, as I understand it, there may be some other business related to the judicial race, but go ahead in the back.
Mr. Chairman, Tim Kinley, Spokane County. In the spirit of unity, I make a motion for...
Hold on. Please be quiet. We have a speaker on the floor.
I make a motion for unanimous vote for all the endorsed parties in the spirit of unity.
That's a motion and a second. Any discussion? The motion is to make a endorsement by acclamation of the body in the spirit of unity. We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? That the body would agree with the slate of endorsed candidates by acclamation, acting as a unified body. Any discussion? A maker of the motion, you can speak a little bit.
Yeah, Tim Kinley, Spokane County. This is just so that it's a unanimous vote and we're in agreement and unity and pushing forward with our endorsed candidates.
But as we can't make it a unanimous vote. We can vote by acclamation to support the slate of endorsed candidates.
So on a point of order, we can do what we want to do.
I would like to speak against the motion.
Go ahead.
I feel that since we had some candidate, filing week in Washington State is not until May 6th, ends on May 10th. There will be many other candidates that will be running for some of these positions. We had a couple that were totally unopposed. Obviously, they, at this time, got the vote of the delegates, but they have no idea who's going to be running. And I don't think it is fair to ask WSRP to absolutely say they're all the endorsed candidates when you don't really know who's running.
Well, I mean, he withdrew his motion, so thank you.
No, I didn't.
All right. Do we have any other business?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
So point
Chris
of
Ferguson.
order, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead. Point of order. Go ahead.
My point of order is that we can do that. You ruled that we couldn't do a unanimous vote by acclamation, and we can. And so that was my point of order.
We can't make a vote that wasn't unanimous. We can support the slate by acclamation. That we can do. Go ahead.
Debbie Knudsen, Chelan County. I think we voted, it's over. We've got a lot of business to do, and trying to do something else is irrelevant.
All right. Any other business?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I move that we as a body recommend the candidacy of Mr. Judge Larson.
Thank you. I believe that motion is in order. The motion is to recommend the candidacy of Judge Dave Larson for the state Supreme Court. A sea of seconds. I saw this one first.
Wait a minute. Point of order.
Go ahead.
There was a motion on the floor for a unanimous vote for that other thing, and now you're going on to other business.
That motion was withdrawn.
No, it wasn't. He got back up and said, no, it wasn't. So we're still
Maker of the
in
motion.
discussion.
Yeah, and I raised a point of order that we can do that, and we have not had a ruling on that.
We cannot make unanimous
So I
votes
appeal.
to endorse that were not unanimous.
By acclamation, you can. It's the same thing, but we can do
It's actually
that.
not the
But
same.
I need a ruling on my point of order.
The ruling on your point of order is we cannot, it is not in order to take a vote to make retroactively unanimous a vote that was not unanimous. What we can do is we can vote by acclamation to support the slate of endorsed candidates. The motion is out of order.
So we're not moving forward.
So what are you doing with your motion?
Right. So parliamentarian points out if each of the elections had itself been unanimous, we could do what the motion sought to do.
Okay, so
But
we're
since
not
they
doing
weren't, we can't. But if someone wants to make a motion to support the slate by acclamation of the body, we can do that.
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman would like to amend his motion to acclamation.
Thank you. Now that is in order. So the motion is to support the slate of endorsed candidates by the acclamation of the body. We have some seconds. I saw this one down front first. Okay, any discussion on the motion to
Chair,
vote? Hold on. I see you. You were first. Go ahead.
I was waiting. I think I'm here to speak against.
Okay. Go ahead in the back.
Chair, there's a point of question is, in this, counties that may not have voted for the candidates, are they bound to this? If they had endorsed other candidates than what this body is, are they bound in any way by this affirmation?
We're the Republicans. We don't bind people to things. But seriously, the answer to the question is would be an action of this body. It does not bind a county party to anything, anywhere. It's a kind of celebration, a celebratory action by this body to further its support of the slate of endorsed candidates. And as background, it is something that is often done. Are there other
Yes, Mr. Chair.
discussions? Hold on, this one first, and then you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would just speak against this motion, specifically on the grounds that our governor's race has been quite controversial. And I'll just use your words, they were excellent, that we don't bind people. This would not bind people, but this would be asking to put out a statement that says that we all agree to all of the people that were chosen, and we clearly do not. And I would certainly not expect to put that stamp if my candidate were to have prevailed any more than if my candidate did not prevail.
Thank you. All right, in the back.
And I agree with this speaker here. That is completely inappropriate. I know some people here are feeling celebratory, but not all of us are. And you don't have the right to say that we're celebrating with you. 'Cause
And
we're
that's
not.
what I was going to say too.
I would like to speak in favor of the motion from someone who, well, let me just ask, who wants to win? Who's ready to win? If we don't start supporting our own candidates, this is the beginning. Now I recognize that there is a lot of challenges in
Hold on,
moving
Erica.
forward.
Come on, let's keep it quiet. We have a speaker on the floor. Go ahead.
But the point of an endorsing convention is to endorse candidates. And if we're not willing to stand up unified, we will continue to allow the Democrats to win in this state. And if that's what you want, then go for it. This endorsing convention was put in place because the last time we won in Washington state was in the 90s, and it was because of this strategy. Endorsing is a winning strategy. Not every candidate that I wanted got the endorsement, but as a Republican, I am not going to be bound, but I am going to commit. I came to this convention to endorse. I'm going to endorse.
Go ahead.
I also am in favor of
I
this.
recognize the speaker. I'll do it next.
I'm sorry, did you
Go
recognize?
ahead.
Thank you.
John Sino Spokane. I also am in favor of this. Yeah, but we had 2 or 3 negatives first.
No.
Thank you. My name is John Sino. I'm Spokane County. I am in favor of this motion, and the reason is, just like some people have said before, okay, we have a slate of candidates that are competing against each other, the Republican versus Republican. That just splits the vote. Last night we heard that in Spokane County we had something like 230,000 people voted for Culp. 175,000 voted for Inslee. Okay, so that basically when we have multiple people in Spokane County, for example, that are Republican, they're going to split the vote and the Democrat will win. We need to be united, and together we need to be united, and we need to help raise funds for these people, for the slate of candidates we have, and we need to be knocking on doors as a unified party. That's the only way we're going to beat these commie-crats.
Go ahead.
So I will.
Yakima County, call the question.
All right, the question's been called. The calling the question requires a 2/3 vote. It ends debate. If you're in favor of calling the question, raise your hands. Thank you. If you're opposed to calling the question, raise your hands. The question's called. Debate is over.
Point of information,
Go ahead. Point of information.
what's the threshold for proclaiming this affirmation?
I'm sorry. Speak up.
Is this a 50% vote? Is this a 2/3 vote?
It's a standard motion, so it would be a simple majority vote. All right.
Point of information,
Point
Chairman.
of information. Go ahead.
Define support. What does that mean to the body and to the WSRP?
The motion maker would have to define support, and this is not a colloquy. Motion maker, I will give you a moment to define support in your motion. Motion
Mr.
maker
Chairman,
is not available.
Mr. Chairman, it's the common definition of the common English language word support.
All right, I don't want to drag this out into a colloquy. Let's vote on the motion because we've called the question. All in favor of the motion, which again is to support the slate of endorsed candidates by acclamation, raise your hands. Well, that looks almost like acclamation to me. If you do not support the motion, raise your hands. The ayes have it, the motion passes.